Hey guys, it's Angelo, and due to a high request from all of you guys, here is a detailed rundown of all of my add-ons and my UI that I use during raiding and other things to give you a better understanding of the factors I look at and use in order to increase my effectiveness as a player. Keep in mind that none of these add-ons will directly increase your performance, and it all comes down to personal preference essentially. Ultimately, you should find add-ons that help your gameplay, though if you find some in this video which may help you, then of course that is great. If add-ons are something you generally haven't used before, that's fine as well, as this video may give you some great insight on how WoW life with add-ons plays itself. Now, of course, without any further ado, let's get right into it. First off, I use LVUI for most of my interface. You can view LVUI as the framework or the foundation of my UI, as it brings the most essential and important aspects with it, like my unit frames, my chat panel, my map layout, my buffs, and of course my tooltips and my boss frames. LVUI brings other important things with it, like nameplates or Caste Bars, but I chose to turn those off in order to use some others which actually suit me better, but more on that in a bit. You can change your UI's color, your layout, and essentially anything with LVUI, which makes it so fantastic. Keep in mind though that the add-on is incredibly simple to use for starters, but takes experience and knowledge in order to optimize it perfectly the way you imagine it. I will link my LVUI profile in the description below, so if you have the add-on and want to try out my layout for starters, feel free to do so. For my nameplates, I use Kui nameplates, which is very similar to tidy plates, but follows a different style and look, while also displaying important information on top of the said nameplates. I'm able to see what dots are currently running on my targets and for how long they will remain. What's good about Kui nameplates, or KUI nameplates, whatever one you want to use, when it comes to this, is that when I choose to stack my nameplates rather than to overlap them, which is what I usually do, I usually stack my nameplates, the add-on stacks them in a very comfortable way, allowing me to constantly mouse over all of my nameplates with a relatively low risk of hovering over the wrong nameplate and therefore the wrong target. This allows for pretty easy and simple and convenient multi-dotting and target switching, especially when using mouse over macros like I do. Now of course I will link my mouse over macros in the description below should you want to use those as well. The timer that you see on the bottom right underneath my health bar, the white circle you see around my cursor, and the spells and insanity bar that you see at the lower center of the screen are part of my Wig Auras. The timer allows me to decide when to use my potion or prolonged power, and also helps me to see when certain mechanics in the fight will appear or will not appear if we are fast enough. It also helps when using Surrender to Madness a lot, as they allow me to make an estimated guess on when the boss will die in comparison to when it has died previously, or if this is a completely new boss in comparison to the execute phase. The white circle around my cursor allows me to keep track of my mouse when the screen is full of spells, abilities, pets, and nameplates, meaning I will never lose track of it, therefore I can continue to dot perfectly fine. This is very important when considering the fact that target switching and multi-dotting is an important aspect of doing good DPS, and this makes it a lot easier. Of course, I will link these Wig Auras in the description below guys, so don't worry about where you can find them. Wig Auras can be used for literally endless amounts of things in WoW, so that is an add-on that I highly recommend you get. As you can see, it also helps me to keep track of my Auspicious Spirits or different trinket procs, as well as my Void form stack, so really important stuff. Wig Auras helps me to keep track of the raid cooldowns that are currently available or have already been used as well, which you can see on the right side of my screen, or rather the bottom right side. There are Wig Auras for all different classes and specs out there for you to use, and if you're comfortable enough with the add-on, you can actually make your own. For tracking my current performance, as well as the overall raid performance, I use Details as my resource. Details, similar to SCADA or Recount, lets you track your damage, healing, damage taken, interrupts, and virtually anything else that is happening or has happened during an encounter. The big differences between details and the others that are important to me are exactly two things. First, details allows me to see my current performance on the DPS meter or HPS meter no matter how many other players I display in the window. For example, if I am 8th on DPS, but only display 6 bars, I can still see my bar below, allowing me to see if I need to step up my game because I'm not paying attention, or if I'm getting back to where I need to be. This is important when deciding on where and how to use your cooldowns, your potions, or when and how to plan your upcoming movement. The second important thing to me is that details actually updates your combat log, or rather gets updated by your combat log, a lot faster if you allow it to. Whereas Scatter and Recount only get updated every half a second to a second, you can allow details to get updated every 0.05 seconds, which feeds you real-time updates on what exactly is going on. For my Caste Bars, I use an add-on called Genesis. Genesis allows me to track my casts and channels with a displayed ping or latency or MS on the bar, which is important when deciding things like clipping mind flays early or delayed, or when pressing buttons to cast your abilities, so this can go literally for any class. The bars can be moved around freely and their colors can be changed, as well as the font size and the overall size of the bar. Overall, this is a really good Caste Bar add-on and honestly fits well into any style of interface you desire. Its simple but detailed design make it very informative and convenient, so I highly recommend it. Alright guys, those are the add-ons that help me out while playing the most. Now, I specifically did not add bigwigs to the list because using bigwigs or DBM honestly comes down to complete personal preference, and literally everyone has heard of those two add-ons either way in any way, shape or form. I'll display a complete list of all of my add-ons on the screen now so that you can see for yourself what I use or don't use. Keep in mind that I only listed add-ons in this video that actually alter my gameplay. So add-ons like World Quest Tracker or Atlas Loot aren't discussed, as they're basically just quality of life add-ons rather than game-changing factors. Now, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you have not already. As always, have a good one my friends, and I will see you all in the next one.
A lifetime in repeat.